Rolling into the weekend with a top 4 matchup in the CAA. Monmouth hosting top 10 Stony Brook right now. A very good afternoon and a happy holiday weekend with Erica Kaufman-D'Elia. I'm Matt Harmon. Erica, top 10 Stony Brook. They've been one of the best teams in the country. Their schedule says it. Their results say it. Monmouth a chance today to really see what they're made of.
Yeah, exactly. It will be a big test for Monmouth as, like you said, they host one of the best teams in the country. And they know it's going to be a challenge, but it's something they're looking forward to, the opportunity to play at the top level of college lacrosse.
Difficult as we think of a highlight player for Stony Brook because they have one of the best rosters in the entire country. We're going with junior midfielder Ellie Massara. She is one of the best in the country.
She sure is. She's the CAA's pick for preseason midfielder and player of the year. She's on the Tewaaraton watch list. She currently leads Stony Brook in goals, ground balls, and draw controls and ranks 4th nationally in goals per game. Keep an eye on Massara on the draw circle and in Stony Brook's attacking 30 as she continues a banner season and works to keep Stony Brook undefeated in conference play.
Now, if Monmouth is going to pull what you'd have to say would be an upset, they're going to have to control the draw. That turns our highlight to Cassidy Orban.
Exactly. She's very similar to Monmouth as Massara is to Stony Brook. She's a weapon in the midfield. She can score on attack. She can cause turnovers on defense. But what might be most important today is her ability to win the draw, something she does consistently, and she's going to have to do to keep a close game here with one of the top programs in the country.
Nice day overall. Temperatures not too warm. Cloudy skies, and you see the matchup of our two highlight players today. Two so far of the best in the league controlling the draw. And Erica, I feel like we could almost say it before every broadcast. It's a key to every single game. It's how you set your tempo for every single game. And for Monmouth, it becomes extremely important today.
It absolutely does. And I feel like we talk about it a lot at the end of the game, how every draw is so important. But in a conference matchup, I think it's fair to say that every single draw control throughout the entire 60 minutes could be a difference maker.
Monmouth in their home white uniforms today. Stony Brook with the red tops and the blue bottoms. A Stony Brook team that comes in 8-2, 3-0 in league play. Interesting to note, this is a matchup of two first-year teams within the CAA. As good as Stony Brook has been, they were a member prior to this season of the America East. Monmouth moving over in the offseason from the MAC.
And I think games like this are one of the most exciting things about the transition from the MAC to the Colonial, playing at this really high top level. And you could see it started right away, right off the first draw for Stony Brook. One of the reasons why they are doing as well as they are this season with an early goal from Kaylin Hart, one of their big weapons in the attacking end. We'll take another look at this Hart goal here in Stony Brook's first attacking set. She had some pressure on her, but able just to turn the corner and rip that shot right off of Gia Mitchell's non-stick side for Stony Brook's first goal of the afternoon.
Kaylin Hart's 25th of the year, last season's America East Attacker of the Year. Possessions will be extremely important for Monmouth today. I think it's fair to say you're going to have a hard time slowing down Stony Brook offensively, Erica. So when you get possession, if you're Monmouth, not that it's a must score every time, but you're going to have to keep pace.
No, that's exactly right. And Monmouth has a lot of attacking weapons. They have a lot of different players who can score. They can score in different ways. They're prepped to go up against this really aggressive zone defense of Stony Brook. So every possession that they get in that attacking 30 is going to be extremely important.
Another draw win for Stony Brook. Take a look at a very dangerous starting lineup for the Seawolves, who come in, depending on what poll you're looking at, number 6 or number 7 in the country.
And that's a spot where they've hovered ever since the preseason, right in that middle of the top 10. So where they were projected to do, they've held true all season. There are only 2 losses this season coming to the current number 1 in Syracuse and number 2 in Northwestern.
Good help from Monmouth on the perimeter. Erica, something to note, Monmouth trying to play a little bit more man-to-man than zone.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They think that gives them their best advantage today. Stony Brook having success early on against this man v man. Nice goal there for Hampel. But yeah, Monmouth has a lot of depth in their defense. They thought the man-v-man would be the better option here, but you could see Hampel just a really nice dodge right along that crease. The help came just a second too late. And you don't need a lot of space in women's lacrosse to turn and get that shot off as Hampel just did.
Stony Brook in the early going. Couple of goals, 16th of the year for Hampel. And they lead Monmouth 2-0.
So we talked about the draw. Stony Brook won the first 2 draws and able to convert on both possessions. So it really is an important statistical category, something that Monmouth's going to need to win if they want to give themselves the opportunity to put some points on the board. Because like you said, a really potent attack from Stony Brook, lots of weapons, and so far they are true to form.
Charlotte Verhulst and Maya Brock, the two at the draw spot. It's a possession here for Monmouth. It is their first opportunity to go towards goal today.
See all the red shirts swarming McNeely there on the right, trying to put some pressure on that transition.
Mangum, Orban, touch for Caitlin Colbert, who got a start today for Jordan Troutman's Monmouth Hawks.
She's been very effective coming in off the bench, so good for her to earn that starting nod today.
Monmouth leading scorer is Caroline Brennan, 29 goals, 17 assists. She is flanked by a couple of red jerseys towards the top part of your screen. Half minute on the shot clock. Brock.
And you can see those red shirts just swarming ball even behind cage, which is not something you always see. So they are confident in their defenders to put that high pressure on ball to make it hard for the other teams to get a shot off. As you can see, Monmouth wasn't able to really get a legitimate scoring opportunity there and able to come up with the ball and get possession back in their attacking end.
Good luck at the player in the cage today, Haley Duknowski, number 40 for Stony Brook. Transfer in from LIU. Split time a little bit, gets the start here today. There is one very consistent theme when you look up and down the Stony Brook roster. That is keeping hometown players at home, and another goal coming here for Stony Brook. It is Hart to get it. It will be her second, and the Seawolves up 3.
Let's take another look at this 1v1 drive she had here. She makes a dodge, comes with the stick in her left side, able to seal off her defender and just get that shot off right inside of the crease to give Stony Brook the 3-0 lead.
Second today, 26th of the year. And the question will be for Monmouth, Erica, with an early start like this for Stony Brook, you know if they get on a roll, they're even harder to break down and beat. What's Monmouth do here to, in essence, stop the bleeding?
Well, it starts with the draw control. We still see Brock taking the draw. She's taken all of them so far, but Monmouth has some other draw sets they can rely on and switch things up and see if that gives them a different outcome in that stat. And then also defensively, they are in their man. They have players on. It's really important that they're going to send help because you can see with the talented attacking court, even a 1v1, Stony Brook can score. So it's going to be really important that they get that second player there to really bring the double and make it that much harder for Stony Brook to get good shots off.
That was Massera who took that last shot offline. Possession kept for the Seawolves. Still early in the first. Hart is tripped up and will have a free position opportunity. On the season, Stony Brook 19 of 54 coming in at 35%.
She's got a nice angle there to goal with her left hand up that big cradle. Looks like a power shot's coming. It's like someone started a little bit early, so she'll get to reset here for a second chance opportunity for Hart, one of Stony Brook's big scorers, and you can see why. She just ripped that one. Little bit of a riser. But good opportunity for her to put herself on that line with that left hand up. We'll see another look at this free position shot and goal. Big cradle often indicates a power shot is coming. Just a step or two, a little bit of a drop of a stick and a riser, which is really hard for a goalie to save. A little bit deceptive. So you think it's coming at one height and it actually comes up in another. And with that high, powerful shot, it's a really hard stop to make for a goalie.
It's been an electric start here in the first for Stony Brook, most notably Caitlin Hart, their senior attacker out of North Babylon. She has a hat trick already and her team up 4.
I know the draw is something that Coach Troutman and her coaching colleagues have worked a lot on this week. They knew it would be important. They had a really strong identity on the draw last year. They haven't really established that as much this season, so that's something they've really been focusing on in practice, and we'll see if that translates as we continue throughout this game.
Monmouth coming in 8-5, 2-1 right now in league play. They have a very difficult schedule coming up, including this one. Yet to play this game, obviously, to finish it up. They still have to play Towson, who is undefeated in the league, Drexel, and William and Mary. Trick is to be in the top 4 and get into the postseason.
Yeah, I think as a first year for Monmouth in the Colonial, they're happy where they are right now. They've played 3 games. They're 2-1. All 3 games decided by just a goal. So they are right in the mix. They're pleased to be where they are, but they'd obviously really like to make a run at that postseason play.
Stony Brook patient here in this set, leading by 4. It's Claire Levy with possession. Towards goal again. Save made that time by Gia Mitchell, who went downstairs.
Yeah, really nice save for Gia Mitchell. It must be a good feeling to get that first one in, especially when you've had a couple scored on you so quickly. Wasn't able to pull it in, but just a quick flick to Vangeli in the D, and you can see Monmouth now here on their transition, trying to make something happen on the other end of the field.
Feely breaks the restraining line. Will check back out. As a defender, Danielle McNeely steps in, and Monmouth the chance to cut into a 4-goal deficit.
I just referenced the first save of the game, how that must feel really good too. And I think this is an important time for Monmouth, their attacking unit, to put a point on the board. You don't want to dig yourself a hole so deep that you'll never be able to climb out of, but also just that feeling of getting the first one on the board often can just kind of calm the nerves and build some confidence.
Mangum to her right for McNeely. That's going to roll out, and it will be Stony Brook possession.
McNeely was looking for Spears in the middle there, and Monmouth has had a little bit of trouble this year with some of those unforced errors, that final connection pass, not always securing it. That's something that they're going to have to be really clean with today to get those shots off and to give themselves a chance to keep it close with Stony Brook.
Driving towards goal. It's another one for Stony Brook. This one will go for Morgan Mitchell.
Mitchell, another player for Stony Brook that has double-digit goals this year. And you can see this really strong, true 1v1. She comes across the elbow, strong hand up, able to put Vangeli on her back. And there was no help there. So it's evident already in 4 of these 5 goals, aside from the free position, that Stony Brook has no trouble taking those 1v1 drives, and they've had a lot of success with that so far this afternoon. So back to the draw, where we have a Stony Brook edge 4-1.
5 goals on 7 shots so far.
Quite efficient start to their day. Another draw to Stony Brook's credit.
It was Hampel who won it herself. McQuarrie driving, save by Mitchell. She saw it clean. Off the clear, coming forward is Vangeli. Monmouth could really use a goal.
For sure. We talk a lot in lacrosse how there can be momentum shifts and there's moments of runs, sometimes minutes of runs. So far, it's been all Stony Brook, and it's, I think, just mentally an important time for Monmouth to get themselves on the board here and switch some of that momentum back to them.
Marissa Lagara has checked in for Monmouth. Different look through the attack. Open on the left is Brock.
Good ground ball by Brock to keep possession with Monmouth. That's another stat that they've talked a lot about this week. Just hustling to get all those 50-50 ground balls, knowing that possession is going to be so important in this game.
Shot clock to 15. McNeely going down, took contact.
She did. She's got a lot of contact right there in that critical scoring area. A little bit surprised not to see her on the line.
Couple of shot opportunities for Monmouth, but nothing to threaten Duchnowski too much. Off the turnover, Stony Brook maintains possession, leading 5-0.
Strong defensive stance by Stony Brook to prevent Monmouth from getting a really good scoring opportunity off and then forcing the turnover on that shot clock violation.
This is a Stony Brook team the last couple of years has made it all the way, as Monmouth has a player down, has made it all the way to the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament. Gabby Vangeli, the player who is shaken up.
It looked like she took a bit of a wrong step in the turf. It didn't appear to be a contact injury. So you can take a look at both teams just taking an opportunity while Vangeli is tended to by the medical staff to confer, talk about what's working for Stony Brook, what they want to continue to do when the game continues. And then Monmouth, I would imagine, taking this opportunity defensively to come together, to keep each other's spirits up and to talk about what they can do better when the game takes place again. You can see Vangeli there getting a little help off the field. Hopefully she's okay.
We talked in the open, and we will sprinkle in during the course of it, the couple of losses that Stony Brook does have on the season, coming against, at the time, number 3 Northwestern. That was a game that took place in March out at Northwestern, and a game on a Wednesday in March up at the Dome at Syracuse. Lost to the Orange 16-11, lost to the Wildcats 13-8. 3-2 overall. Their ranked wins over Michigan, Yale, and Stanford. I'm sure somewhere in there someone could say we've played a harder schedule, but you'd have to throw Stony Brook right into the mix.
Yeah, that's absolutely accurate. They've both played some top programs early on in the season. Like you mentioned, Stony Brook's only losses coming to those top programs. Monmouth had some losses early on, but Coach Troutman was, I was chatting with her yesterday, and she was saying that that tough competition early on has prepared them for these types of games, and she feels that they are better at this point in the season, as you would expect.
That's going to be a turnover for Stony Brook. Monmouth possession. As referenced, Hawks have played a couple of ranked teams. Lost to Hopkins and Rutgers. Colbert up top for Maddie Murphy. Stony Brook has not made things easy so far for the Monmouth attackers. Hawks with 2 shots so far, still looking for their first on goal.
You can see that high pressure that the Seahawks defense brings on ball. They're confident in their players, their athleticism, and then the support they have from the other defenders behind ball.
Brock tripped up. She faked the shot. She'll get a chance with a free position opportunity.
Maya Brock, who's known for her skill on the draw control circle, but has become more of a scorer this season in her junior year.
24 goals on the year. Looking to make it 25. Will come in, take an opportunity, and get Monmouth on the board.
And there's that first goal they've been working toward. It took a little while, almost 11 minutes in this first quarter, but a really great free position take for Maya Brock. We'll take another look at this one here. You can see she runs it in. She has it in her strong hand, able to seal off the defender, working in tight on that crease, able to just get it right on that hip height. Past Duchnowski for Monmouth's first score of the day.
A much needed goal for the Hawks. We will take a timeout here. 4:04 remaining in the first. Stony Brook in charge. Today's broadcast of the Monmouth Hawks and Monmouth Women's Lacrosse on Flow Sports brought to you in part by World Subaru. Get more for your money at World Subaru. 5-1 in the first. Stony Brook, top 10 team in the country in women's lacrosse, making the trip down here to the Garden State to kick off a holiday weekend, and they have responded with 5 goals. Monmouth getting the last, and with a draw win here from Orban, let's see if the Hawks can get a little momentum.
Orban able to come up with it on the ground. You may have noticed that there was a change in the actual draw control taker in Ali Toronto, so mixing it up from Brock, seeing if that can shift things in their favor on that center circle. You can see Orban, a true leader in that statistical category that we talk about, how important it is all the time. She's just so athletic and scrappy. She's a gamer. She's got a lot of experience, and she's done a great job. She set the single season record last year for Monmouth in draw controls, and it's something she's leading by a large margin in this year's squad as well.
McNeely tried to come and pick it up. Hawks will give possession back to Stony Brook as we come up on 3 to go in the first.
And that Monmouth attacking unit's really going to have to keep things sharp and clean on that end. As you can see, those Stony Brook defenders play a lot of pressure, and they are really aggressive in getting those 50-50 balls, and those are opportunities they do not want to lose. See the attack of Stony Brook, nice and spread, really patient. With a 4-goal lead, it gives them the chance to do that, to set the pace, to take some time to work for what they think their best opportunity is.
It will be another one in the ledger. Morgan Mitchell coming forward. She's got a pair, and the lead back to 5. You know, Erica was going to say that there's just so many weapons on this Stony Brook team that you just, there's no one player to stop.
That's exactly right. Ellie Massara, who we know is a threat. We featured her in our opening. With the ball is dangerous. She drew the double team, and the slide just wasn't there in time for Monmouth. And Ellie Massara, as experienced and composed as she is, and really as skilled as she is, able to get the feed off. Nice feed inside for another Stony Brook goal.
Ali Toronto was in there for the draw again for Monmouth. Win for Stony Brook.
Monmouth defenders playing a little bit deeper in, closer to the 8, making sure that there's contact on attackers in that critical scoring area.
A Stony Brook team which, like Monmouth after today, has 3 league games remaining. They've also got a really interesting top 10 matchup with Rutgers next Wednesday. Screen set for Massara, who shoots, takes contact, and it continues here for the Seawolves.
Really powerful take from Massara right at the top of the 8. You'll see her here as she drives through strong and hip. She's got great speed, finds herself on the ground at the end. If that whistle, or if there was a whistle, was simultaneous, the goal will stand. If it had come afterwards, you might have seen her on the line there after that type of contact. But a player of her caliber who can score the way she can, she's used to that pressure, she's used to that contact, and she is able to finish. 43 goals this season, a really impressive stat, ranks among the top of NCAA Division I women's lacrosse players. Last check, I believe she was 4th in the entire country. So really good with the ball in her stick, a really great finisher in Massara.
First of the day today. Great opportunity, if nothing else right now, for a player like Ali Toronto to get some experience as a freshman taking these draws. Violation will give it to Monmouth.
With just about a minute and a half left in this first quarter, equal to the shot clock, it would be nice for Monmouth to be able to make this the final possession of this first quarter and score on it heading into quarter 2.
Coming up on 60 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Monmouth nice and patient with the ball, moving it around, getting lots of touches for different players. Moving the ball around is something they worked on this week. They thought it would give them some success in the attacking end to be able to move it quickly.
The game and shot clock running simultaneous. So if Monmouth chooses, they can hold for the last opportunity. Card coming on Stony Brook. Orban drew it for Monmouth.
So Monmouth will have a player up for the last almost 22 seconds of this first quarter. First card, it is releasable, so if Monmouth scores here, Verhulst will get herself back in the game. If they do not, she will continue her penalty outside for the part of 2 minutes. So 2 minutes, so she will be out at the start of the second quarter if Monmouth does not score here and release that card.
2-minute penalty. Contact to the head on Verhulst.
And that's a safety call for lacrosse players. Anytime there's contact from the stick to a body, it is a card.
That will take us to the end of the first, as Monmouth will look to get back into it with a man-up situation coming when we return from the shore. Start of the second. Stony Brook had picked up a penalty in the late stages of that first 15-minute block. Unfortunately for Monmouth, the Hawks also got one right at the very end of the quarter. Maddie Murphy will sit for 2 minutes.
So it's not technically a player up situation with both teams playing a player down, but it will be interesting because you still have to hold 4 back on the restraining line on your attacking 30 and your defensive 30. So we'll be looking at a 6v6 with Stony Brook's possession here. So they'll have 6 attackers against Monmouth, 6 defenders.
Whistle stops play. Stony Brook possession. Shot and a goal towards the far post. It is Hampel again.
You can see Hampel working the 1v1 against Marissa Laguerre, and Orban, understandably so focused on Massera. That is her task today. But when you have a player like Massera who draws that much attention, it opens things up for other players, and that is why the help was not there. And again, another true 1v1 that Stony Brook is able to capitalize on.
Make it 8-1 early in the second.
With that Stony Brook goal, Monmouth is back to full strength. Little over a minute left on the Stony Brook penalty. Really important draw here. If Monmouth can get possession, they'll have a little bit of time to work with a player up. See Hampel on that draw.
Possession grabbed by the Seawolves.
Monmouth with a player up, looking to bring pressure to ball there in that midfield transition, bringing the double, trying to cause a turnover while they have numbers. Less time on the penalty than on the shot clock, so it might be a situation where Stony Brook will stay nice and spread, will eat a little bit of clock, waiting to get at full strength. They're not in a position where they need to score a goal, so they can certainly take that time.
Just winding the penalty down here, which is coming up on 20 seconds remaining.
They're going to have to work quickly once they're back at full strength and they decide to take that charge to cage, see if they can get something off quickly.
Massera. Shot clock is at 10.
Quick changing gears there. As you can see, the pace just pick up dramatically.
Possession will go to Monmouth.
Both teams back at full strength. Maddie Murphy bringing the ball up for Monmouth. She had a big game last Saturday in that 1-goal overtime win against Hofstra.
Brock has the only goal for Monmouth. Hat trick for Hart, a pair for Hampel and Mitchell.
Monmouth just really hasn't been able to generate good scoring opportunities on attack. If you look, they only have 4 shots off. Only one of them has been on goal. Something they're going to have to make some adjustments with at halftime, if not sooner, if they want to stay in this game, put some points on the board.
Up top for Orban. McNeely. Good find inside for Brennan, and Monmouth has their second.
Really great ball movement from the Monmouth attackers. It went from Orban to McNeely to Brennan inside. And that's exactly what Monmouth wanted to do. We'll see that quick ball movement here. We'll see this finish by Brennan one more time. That's exactly what Monmouth's game plan was heading into this game. Knowing that quick, sharp ball movement and getting it into your hot hands. And Brennan, she was a little bit slower last week than typical, at least on her goal production, but able to get back on the board here today with Monmouth's second goal of the afternoon. So you're going over some things with associate head coach Christy Kasner, who runs this Monmouth attacking unit.
Draw coming here, 8-2. Stony Brook the advantage.
We've seen this Verhulst against Toronto draw for the last handful. Great view there. You can see the official just trying to get everything set perfectly. Equal pressure from both teams. Sticks parallel to the ground.
Stony Brook win. Stony Brook goal.
Again, another situation of Massera drawing all that attention with the ball in her stick, able to get the attention of the defenders, bring them over to her. Another nice feed. She had the other assisted goal in this game, and you'll see her as she draws the attention of this Monmouth defenders, able to get to her teammate for a nice low shot past Gia Mitchell.
Hawks are going to make a change in goal and bring in number 44, the senior out of Allen, Texas, Kennedy Fruit.
Number 44, Kennedy Fruit.
Kennedy Fruit, who played a lot of minutes last year for Monmouth, who's seen some time in a handful of games this season. Sometimes the switch is just what you need. Gia Mitchell's done a great job as a true freshman for Monmouth in that really important position of goalkeeper. Sometimes when you have those options and you have that depth, just switching it up can give your team a little bit of a spark. Kennedy Fruit, as an older player, an upperclassman, a little more experience in these types of games, might benefit Monmouth. Great draw there by Orban. You can just see the speed and athleticism of her.
Hawk possession, 9-2 Stony Brook.
McNeely with the ball, who does a really nice job on both ends of the field for Monmouth. She's a sophomore this year. I would say mid-season or so last year, she really proved herself and has been an impact player ever since for this Monmouth squad.
Definitely a building block for Monmouth in years to come. Brennan, also a sophomore. They've been two of Monmouth's more consistent players all season long.
Held flag there for Orban. She got some contact inside of that 8-meter. Orban, who scored the overtime game winner just a week ago on this field against Hofstra.
That one is high, and then into the circle for Duchnowski.
Monmouth has a lot of experience, a lot of veteran players on the defensive end of the ball. It would be nice for them to come up with a big stop here. Almost had that here with Feely, but Stony Brook able to get the ground ball. Sarah looking to set a pick. We've seen her do that a few times this afternoon.
It's going to be another goal for the Seawolves to go up 9-2.
And we'll watch this take here again. You can see the pick that wasn't truly set, but just enough space to maneuver inside that 8-meter for Hampel. The help came a little bit too late. She's able to get that shot off. She really cranks it back and able to get it to the low non-stick side of Kennedy Fruit.
Hampel's got a hat trick, 18th of the year. This has been a very impressive first half for Stony Brook.
And I'm looking at that goal stat line right now for Stony Brook, and I have in my notes 5 players with double-digit goals on the season, and they're all on the board so far for Stony Brook. Nice view of that interesting hand formation on the draw for Verhulst. You can see the bottom hand much higher up on the stick, likely giving her more power there toward the head where the ball is.
One thing about this Stony Brook team, they just keep coming at you.
They sure do, and that is one of the main reasons why they are one of the top teams in the country. Nice save for Fruit on a Massera attempt. It looked like a Monmouth defender was trying to get the ball back to Kennedy Fruit, and a Stony Brook player's stick might have crossed over that crease line, which is a foul violation.
Comes Mary Kate George up the field.
Mary Kate George, who started at Ohio State for her lacrosse college playing career, and last year decided to come home. She's from Monmouth Beach. Went to high school at Troy Regional, which is in West Long Branch, same town as our Monmouth University. She hovers between the midfield and the defensive unit, depending on the opponent. So you can see her getting some action here on the attacking end. Lots of pressure behind cage from these Stony Brook defenders.
Good scoop to keep possession for Murphy. Brennan, high shot. Couldn't get the follow through on the opportunity.
Possession still with Monmouth, but only about 15 seconds to work on the shot clock. You can see how those red shirts swarm the ball as it comes inside of that critical scoring area. About 5 seconds to see if Monmouth can get a shot off.
Whistle will stop play for a second, but as things continue, shot clock violation will give it back to Stony Brook.
So with a nice lead here for Stony Brook, they're able to really set the tempo here, work the ball around, take as much time as they want. They're not in a have-to-score situation, so they'll continue to work it around with really any of those seven are capable of putting the ball in the back of the net, just working for what their best opportunity is. Massera thought she had a good shot there. It looked like it had some contact with Fruit, maybe even a pipe.
That shot from Massera, I think, sums it up a little bit. That's just confidence with a defender in front of you. High to low, and it's another goal for Stony Brook. Jolie Creo, the grad student who's come over from Holy Cross after a great career with the Crusaders.
Yeah, the 1v1 was there. The defender was there. You'll see this. You actually can't see it maybe in the corner. Monmouth defender finds herself on the ground, and then just a really good opportunity. A big fake there for Creo. Fake high, shoot low. Really just her against the goalkeeper. There's not much any goalie can do in that type of situation.
8th of the year for Creo, and Stony Brook up 11-2.
Now goal for Stony Brook, number 3, Aaliyah Jones.
Aaliyah Jones has entered in goal for Stony Brook. So both coaches making substitutes within the net. See Jones, when she has played, she's been very good.
She's had some good minutes this year, and it's nice for Stony Brook to be able to get her in goal as a junior, to get her some minutes as the likely, you never know who's coming in, but as a likely starter next season, knowing that Duchnowski is a grad student.
Long clear, grabbed by Brock.
Big pass there from George to Brock.
Monmouth has numbers. Stony Brook a good job of slowing things down. Brennan behind for Brock. can't control.
That's an unfortunate missed opportunity for Monmouth there. Like you mentioned, they had some numbers, they had some good ball movement. Just again, need to clean up that stick work to take advantage of every opportunity, every possession that they have in this game. Great work for McNeely, little back check there. Put the ball on the ground, but Stony Brook able to come up with it.
That one dings back off the goal. Winds up in the cradle of McNeely.
A little bit of a forced pass there to Brock. A foul will keep the possession with Monmouth. Monmouth here in their settled attack, working the ball around, seeing what they can create.
Orban.
You can see Liv Finelli over there with the ball in her stick. She's checked in for Monmouth. She's gotten some good minutes in the last few games.
Free position opportunity coming for Monmouth. It's a shot that goes high from Finelli, and a save is made by Jones.
Stony Brook is so quick on the transition, whether it comes off the draw, whether it comes from a goalie clear. You can just see how quickly they move the ball, able to get a quick shot off of that. Fruit in the right spot to make the save. And it seems as we move through the second quarter, Monmouth has created more opportunities for themselves. It's just a matter of being able to finish.
Flick back up high, Orban.
You can see those red shirts just swarm. It's a really high pressure, really active zone that Stony Brook plays.
As much as you would talk about the Stony Brook attack, which is so good, it's a defense that gives up only about 8 goals per game.
Absolutely, and you need a strong defense if you're going to be one of the top teams in the country. Obviously, we talk about scores quite a bit. We see those numbers on these big scoreboards. That's what decides the game eventually, but it's all those other things that play such an important part. And to be a top program, you're going to need an efficient attack unit, you're going to need a strong defense and solid goalkeeping.
6 games this year, 6 of the 8 wins. Stony Brook has given up single-digit goals. Two to go in the first half.
Stony Brook cannot hang on to the ball for the rest of this quarter. There is about a minute differential between the shot clock and the quarter clock, really the half clock. So they're going to have to try to make something happen here. So Monmouth might wind up with another possession. See Hampel there on that outside of the 12-meter. MK George behind for the foul.
Here we go, Jay!
.40 on the Shot clock. Great cut. Save made by Fruit. Hampel weaves through traffic and scores.
Wow, what a finish for Hampel. Really great hustle to keep possession with Stony Brook here. We'll see this goal one more time. And you can see she's just weaving through those white shirts, and really good stick work as she brings it out low to the side and just cranks that shot. You'll see it come all the way from low. She comes over all the defenders and is able to put it low past Kennedy Fruit.
Four today. 19 on the season. Timeout will stop things with 53 seconds remaining.
And with this 10-goal differential in the score, I know we're inside a minute in this first half, but it will move, at least temporarily, to a running clock, only stopping for things like we see now, a timeout, an injury. The rest of the time, the clock will continue to run. Now, if Monmouth were to score and get the difference with under 10 again, it will go back to the regular stoppage. Let's see Coach Joe Spallina going over some things with his squad.
Stony Brook undefeated. It's the Seawolves and the Tigers of Towson, who are both 3-0 going in to play this weekend. Monmouth at 2-1. You can see just overall, come league play, 51 goals for and 14 against. That is a staggering goal differential.
Right. Yeah, you look at the goals, Monmouth with 51, Stony Brook with 51, but it's the goals against that you see that big difference between these two teams.
Draw control really good.
And also look Stony Brook too with their caused turnovers compared to the caused turnovers against. That's a big differential there as well. So they are causing turnovers. They're forcing the other team to make mistakes and get possession back, but not allowing that to happen as often.
Extra possessions. It all adds up to.
It absolutely does.
.53 seconds remaining off the timeout. These teams, two of the newer members of the CAA. Monmouth moving over in the offseason from the MAC. Stony Brook, after making the NCAA tournament the last couple of years as a qualifier in the America East.
Nice to see some fans in the stands today. I just got a nice little view, if you'll indulge me for a moment, of the Austin kids. Stacy was a teammate of mine here at Monmouth on the lacrosse field. Her husband, many of you may know Miles Austin, who played football here and played in the NFL for a number of years. So nice to see players coming home and supporting their team.
Having the game be on Good Friday has opened the door for a lot of people that have the day off.
Yeah, spring break here in New Jersey for many schools.
McNeely trying to cut through, is fouled and bumped. There's some of those who have braved. It's a kind of perfect spring day in New Jersey.
You can see some high school letter jackets there coming to check out the game at the college level.
It can be warm and cold in the very same sentence. Great kick save going down, made by Jones. Clock is under 10.
Great one-handed catch there in the midfield by Massera, and a huge pass, unable to connect.
Kennedy Fruit will let it go, and that will take us into our halftime break. Stony Brook with a 10-goal advantage after our first 30 minutes of play. We'll come back, break it down, and get you set for halftime here with Stony Brook up 12-2. Halftime in West Long Branch, New Jersey. It is Stony Brook 12 and Monmouth 2. Matchup of two of the top four teams right now going into the last month of play within the CAA women's lacrosse standings. Erica, we knew it was going to be a tall order for Monmouth coming into this day. Have been very impressed with Stony Brook. They are as good as advertised.
They absolutely are. They're living up to the hype, really in all facets of the game. They're scoring. They have a couple of different players with some big numbers. They've made some big stops on defense and really solid goaltending too.
And when you think think of it, we've talked about it, who do you stop? There's so many players in terms of the attack for Stony Brook. Jaden Hampel right now leads the way. She's got 4 goals, 3 for Kaylin Hart, but Hampel, in a way, this has been her day.
It sure has. She leads all scorers today. And Massara, who we talked about in the opening, and who's such a proficient goal scorer, only has 1, but she's fed a number of those balls. So when she draws that attention, she's doing a really nice job of dishing it off to her teammates and setting them up to put the ball in the back of the net.
A lot of the numbers, obviously, are dominated by Stony Brook. 23 shots overall. The draw controls are there as well. Hampel has had herself a heck of a day so far. 4 goals, 5 shots, 3 draw controls. It's helped Stony Brook get out to a 12-2 advantage. Not really sure how Monmouth can turn things around in the second half.
Yeah, I don't think there's any adjustments that we'll see from Stony Brook, maybe some lineup changes. Monmouth really needs to value possession. I think that starts from the draw control and then really taking advantage of every time they do have the ball in their sticks, trying to capitalize on it because they've had some unforced errors and really haven't been able to get the shot production that they typically do. They only have 9 on the afternoon. That's something they're really going to have to work on in this second half.
We will come back, break it down for you a little bit more. Second half coming up in just a few. Stony Brook up 12-2. We are back getting set for the start of half number 2. 12-2. Stony Brook the advantage. Matt Harmon, Erica Kaufman-Delia, happy holiday weekend to you and yours. Rolling into it, let's take a look at some of the highlights. We talked about how good Stony Brook has been on the attack. They've been very good from the draw. It's added up to a pretty dominant first half for the Seawolves.
Yeah, Stony Brook has dominated all facets of this game, and they're just firing on all cylinders, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. It's made a rough first half for Monmouth.
You look at it, the Hawks, a couple of times, that one from Brock, you hoped that they could find a little momentum, but ultimately Stony Brook, with their variety of attackers and weapons, has just been too much.
It all starts with possession. I just talked about that at the break. Monmouth really needs to start winning some draw controls and just taking care of the ball when they are able to gather that possession to make some things happen. We've seen this team score a lot of goals this season. I think this is probably the best defensive unit they've faced all year. Hopefully they were able to talk through some things and make some adjustments to get back to playing their game and being the best versions of themselves throughout the second half of play.
After this one, we talked about how important the schedule will be for Monmouth. Assuming things don't change in the second half, they'd go to 2-2 within the league and have 3 really important games coming up, especially if they have aspirations of being in the top 4 and making the conference tournament. A shot and a goal, picking up where they left off, was Massara, who's got another one, and Stony Brook up 13-2.
We talked about Massara at the opening. We talked about her throughout the first half. She's just so dominant and so fast. You can see her just running right through the middle with a head full of steam. Quick little fake move to the right, nice bounce shot to get the first goal of the second half. She just makes it look easy, and I assure you that it's not. That's how skilled she is. That's how athletic she is. That's why she's one of the top midfielders in the entire country.
Off the draw, possession, Monmouth.
Falco, we haven't said her name too many times. We talked about her being one of the best at causing turnovers, but she's really effective on that draw circle as well.
Hawks will try and cut it to 10 if they can. We are working within the 10-goal running clock rule as it stands right now. Mangum.
Lots of high pressure and big sticks from those Stony Brook defenders. Really makes it hard for Monmouth to penetrate inside that 8-meter. Ainsley Schilling is checked in the second half for Monmouth. You can see her wearing number 16. Can I add? That's the number that I wore when I was here, so it's a good one.
You can add.
Thank you. Well, I already did, so it's a good one.
Had been waiting to ask you.
Yeah.
This game probably a little reminiscent for you as a player when you were here. First time that the program made the NCAA tournament in 2001 when you played, in essence, the best team in the country, right? The University of Maryland?
Absolutely. That was many years ago, and that was a time period where Maryland was the dominant team for many years in a row. So we went in as the number 16, matched up against the number 1 in Maryland, hung with them for a half. The second half was more reminiscent of what we're seeing here today. Overall, a great experience, though, and you don't expect to go into those games and win. You want to compete. You want to make it a game. Like I said, we did for a half, but just a great experience overall. And I think Maryland, don't quote me on the number, I think they went on to win their 8th consecutive national championship that year. So that just shows you the caliber of the players and the team that we were up against.
That was the 2001 season for Monmouth, in which overall they went 12-8, perfect 6-0 in, at that time, the Northeast Conference. Won the regular season, won the tournament, and as my partner said, hung with a half with the number 1 team in the country at that time before bowing out in the NCAA tournament to Maryland. Hawks have made the NCAAs 5 times as a program, most recently in 2013. It's a Stony Brook team which is getting to the point, I feel like, Erica, where you can almost say that's a tournament team every year.
They are. Joe Spallina has done such a nice job with Stony Brook. They are consistently in the top of the NCAA women's lacrosse standings. And just to add, one of the nice things about being in the CAA, more powerful competitive conferences, you don't necessarily have to win your conference to get that bid to the NCAAs. So Monmouth, in time where some of these other CAA teams might have those chances to play in the NCAA postseason without having won the Colonial in the regular season or in their conference play.
Marissa Lagara out for 2 minutes with contact to the head. Player up situation for Stony Brook.
That is only Monmouth's second card of this afternoon, so that is a releasable penalty. If Stony Brook scores with this player up advantage, that penalty will be released and she'll be able to join back to even numbers. And you can see with Stony Brook, with the player advantage, able to put some pressure on that goalie clear without leaving somebody open. Orban, who we talked about in the opening, getting things started for the attack of Monmouth.
Just about 5 minutes into our third quarter.
Orban looking to thread the needle to Brennan through the middle, and just great anticipation by Massara to step in and pick that off.
Fruit fights off the shot.
Looked like a little bit of, I don't want to say miscommunication, misunderstanding at behind in the end zone. It looked like Falco thought she had the ball, and Stony Brook player quick to pick it up and get things moving, a player down. We'll see this Stony Brook goal one more time here. You can see that quick pickup from behind, went around the left side of the crease, fed it to a wide open Hampel, who we just talked about at halftime, having a career day and able to finish there yet again for Stony Brook.
Hampel's day continues. 5 overall, 20 on the season. She had 3 last game against Drexel. She is at her season high right now of 5. Most recently in the tenure here at Stony Brook, she had 5 goals against the University of Michigan.
Stony Brook continuing to dominate on the draw circle. You can see Ligero back in the game, so we are back to evenly matched teams, numbers-wise at least. What a great take from Miss Sarah coming around that crease. Slowly putting together a huge day for herself as well. You can see her, nice sharp dodge, getting to her strong hand up, and as she's fading away from the cage, looking like she had defensive pressure all over her, just able to rip that inside that right pipe for her 45th goal of the year. She's one of the best.
So matched up that time with McNeely, and as you watch the replay, Erica, I'm not sure that you could say what else can McNeely do.
There's nothing she can do. She is all over ball. She's putting the pressure on. She's trying to force her out, which is what you want to do at that point. Miss Sarah is just that talented. Redraw here, possession, oh, not a redraw, possession to red. It looked like the Monmouth drawer didn't come up and out on that draw control. Look at that give and go, and a behind the back. That is a highlight reel goal right there.
That's Massara, who's starting to heat up a little bit.
She's just having fun now. I'm sure we'll take another look at this one, but you'll see that again right off the draw. Monmouth had the violation. Possession went to Stony Brook. Just quick ball movement. Really nice give and go for Massara. And a fun behind the back that we'll take another look at right now. Just quick movement. She gives the pass off. She gets it right back. She sees the opportunity. MK just a couple steps behind her, able to get that stick around. We call that the BTB, the behind the back. Just a really fun finish and a hard stop for Fruit to make when you can't necessarily see exactly where it's coming from. And her placement was right on in that bottom left corner. Able to get the next draw quickly.
(16-2). Stony Brook advantage.
No evidence that they're taking their foot off the gas at this stage of the game, continuing to stick to their game plan. Good 1v1 defense from McNeely, able to get a piece of that pass. I thought I saw the official going into her pocket, pulling out a card. I'm not sure who that's against or what that call was. Maybe a dangerous follow through. Do we see a red shirt coming off? McNeely with the ball, ready to get Monmouth started.
Achatella is walking off. Kira Achatella, the senior from Oakdale, Long Island. It's a 2-minute penalty.
Yeah, it's called for dangerous propelling. That's a dangerous follow through on the shot. So when the defender is in good position and the stick goes toward that defensive player in a dangerous manner, that can be called against the attacking player. And again, a lot of these calls, most of them are to keep the players safe. A lot of them have to do with the pace of the game. And that's just one like the shooting space call and the stick to the body, which we talked about earlier, that are just in place to keep everyone safe. Brennan hustling after that missed pass there, able to keep possession.
Brock, catch going low to her right, a little off target.
Yeah, nice look inside to Brock. That was a good move there. It was the right pass. Brock maybe a step or two too many, so she was a little bit past that prime spot to get that shot off. Big sticks from those Stony Brook defenders again, able to get a piece of that attempted feed inside.
Monmouth, after this one today, will, because this game is on Friday, get an extra day before they will take on, in essence, the second best team in the league this year in Towson. Towson and Stony Brook yet to play, so that's yet to be determined.
Yeah, you mentioned that extra day, so they're working with one less day this week as they typically play their conference games on Saturdays, which gives them a lot of time to prepare. They take time to focus on themselves. They take some time to focus on their opponent as they prepare, adjusting that prep schedule just slightly, like you mentioned with this Friday game here today. But the advantage on the flip side, that extra day of preparation, maybe a little bit of rest in there too.
Look ahead to the game coming up midweek for Stony Brook this week, Erica, as they'll take on Rutgers. Matchup of two top 10 teams. We've seen Stony Brook. You know about Rutgers. It should be a fantastic game.
That really should be a competitive game, but I have to say I watched Rutgers play last night, and I think Stony Brook, as they move through this portion of their season, is really peaking, and Rutgers, as good as they are, hasn't quite lived up to the hype of last season, so that should be a really competitive game, and I'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. Take a look at this another Stony Brook goal here as they continue to just add points to the board. Really nice low placement there on that shot. Extending Stony Brook's lead here. They are ahead 15 goals. They're 17 to Monmouth's 2.
Courtney Macklay, the sophomore out of Buffalo, New York, one of the former Navy midshipmen transfer in, one of the few players not from Long Island on the roster.
That's right. Still New York, not Long Island. Stony Brook is in a hotbed of lacrosse, always has been historically. And Joe Spallina doing a really great job of keeping his players home, recruiting from an area that's just known for many, many years of producing top-level lacrosse players. I was looking at their lineup, and it's almost all Long Island, almost all. You have a couple out-of-staters, Texas and Minnesota, but almost everybody else is New York.
I count 6 players on the roster not from Long Island, which in a way is staggering when you think of it.
Well, I think it just talks to how good Long Island lacrosse is. When we were watching I was watching the Stony Brook Syracuse game earlier this year. You just look at those rosters just loaded with talented Long Island players. Many of them actually high school teammates, played for same club teams.
Another goal here for the Seawolves. Stephanie Doyle, the sophomore, will get it.
We'll see Doyle's goal here again. She found herself pretty open as the double went to ball, and the slide was a little bit late, able to handle that pass easily and extend Stony Brook's lead. We talked early on about how we knew this was going to be a challenging game for Monmouth. We knew they were playing a top program. They wanted this to be competitive, and I don't think this is exactly the result they were looking for. I know we still have a lot of lacrosse here to play, but Stony Brook with a really dominant lead as we're getting ready to wrap up the third quarter of play.
I think they're just going to get this draw off in time. It's a pick up and go win for Stony Brook. Verhulst, and that will take us to the end of the third. A dominant performance continues for the Seawolves. 18-2, they lead Monmouth. We will start the fourth quarter with Stony Brook up big, 18-2 with Erica Kaufman-DeLee. I'm Matt Harmon. Happy to be with you here on a Good Friday Lacrosse CAA day. It has, in essence, been all Stony Brook from start to finish.
It really has. They have lived up to the hype of their number 6 ranking that they started the season with and have maintained throughout. Really firing on all cylinders today. Very few mistakes. Really strong attacking core and just solid defense. Nothing flashy on the defense, just making it really hard for Monmouth to get anything going. You can see Gia Mitchell back in the cage here for Monmouth in this fourth quarter. She started the game. Kennedy Fruit got some minutes there in the middle, and back to Gia for quarter 4.
Not sure the mindset of either coach here is right now we're still continuing with a running clock. If we start to see maybe a couple of new players get an opportunity as this game winds down.
And you might actually see that from both teams. You might see some players on Stony Brook who don't get as much playing time with such a lead, getting some minutes. And same thing on the contrary with Monmouth. I think we've seen some comeback wins. I think with the level that Stony Brook is playing at today, that's something that would be a miracle. So I think you might even see some players in the white shirts getting some time in this game where they maybe don't play quite as often. So we'll have to see how that plays out throughout this fourth quarter.
Last couple of goal scorers for Stony Brook have been some of those players who don't see a ton of time, and starting to see some new numbers out there as well on the attack and through the midfield.
Yeah, it's really nice when you see players who don't play as often or don't start games coming in and really taking advantage of the minutes that they are getting. That's how these top programs build. That's how they just reload year after year.
Saved by Mitchell off the shot opportunity from Jaden Donnelly.
Just another one of those situations where there's a battle for that loose ball that Stony Brook has come up with.
Sea Wolves will get a free position opportunity off to their attacking right.
We haven't seen too many free positions for either team today, just a few. Something that Monmouth, I think, struggled a little bit with in their game last week with Hofstra. A lot of fouls, a lot of cards, and Hofstra did a great job of finishing their free position opportunities. I think that's one of the reasons why that game was as close as it was down the stretch. So Monmouth's done a better job today.
That was a fun one you had last week.
It was very different type of feeling and energy than what we're working with today. I mentioned earlier, all 3 CAA games for Monmouth so far decided by just a goal. And that just goes to show how closely matched those middle teams are in the CAA, the middle and the higher numbers. But then when you get to these top programs, it really is just a different level. And it's something that Monmouth is working toward. They know it's their first year in the CAA. They know there's always room for improvement and growth. But this is what they want to be, and this is what they will work toward. Looks like they're really excited here. We'll have to take a look at this number. It might be another one of those players who doesn't get as much action here, able to finish for Stony Brook. Nice drive, turn inside. Looked like she was going to switch hands. Keeps it in her right. Nice little dodge just to get some space to work with.
That's Jaden Donnelly, the freshman out of Port Jefferson, Long Island. Her first goal this year.
Port Jeff is really in Stony Brook's backyard, so nice for her to be able to stay close to home and play for what would be kind of a hometown team.
Also have seen come on for Stony Brook Casey Colbert, who is the younger sister of Monmouth attacker Caitlin Colbert, both hailing from Glenwood Landing, New York, on the North Shore.
I love that lacrosse is such a family affair. We've seen that a couple times throughout the season where you have sisters match up, sometimes on the same team, sometimes against one another. It's like these lacrosse families. There's a lot of lacrosse families out on Long Island. It's just what they do. They're born with sticks in their hands. A lot of opportunity to play at a young age. You can see Joe Spallina's done a nice job, I mentioned earlier, of keeping a lot of these talented Long Island players at home at Stony Brook.
The trademark shirt and tie of Joe Spallina.
That's right. That's what he's known for. It's true to form.
Old school.
I guess at this point we can call ourselves old school too, Matt.
I'll say speak for yourself, though I'm older.
I still have some old school in me.
Coming up on 10 to go in the fourth. Seawolves well on their way to win number 9 of the season.
Great back check there by McNeely. Good pressure on ball by Murphy, able to force the Stony Brook player to bring her stick all the way back. And just Monmouth continues to fight. I mean, this is a team with a lot of character. They know that they don't have a chance here. I don't want to say that there's never a chance, but it's highly unlikely that they're going to mount a comeback here. But lots of credit to them to keep playing hard. They want to do the best they can. They want to make things happen. And a really nice play there from Orban to Brennan to get Monmouth on the board. And it's been quite a bit of time since they've done that.
Great catch and shoot by Caroline Brennan, who comes in as Monmouth's top goal scorer this season. Took some contact as she went to ground. It's her second today, 31st on the year.
And I want to take that back just for a moment. That was Schilling there, who I talked about earlier, wearing number 16 with that nice feed from behind, not Cassidy Orban. Nice look at the coaching staff there for Monmouth. Great pickup on the draw for McNeely.
Another goal for Monmouth. A little run here for the Hawks. Caitlin Colbert, who we just talked about, with her younger sister getting some run.
Right on cue, and that's what Monmouth wanted to do in this game. They wanted to see that quick ball movement, and you'll see that here right off the draw from McNeely. She gives it to Brock. Colbert finds herself in the right position, able to finish, and that's exactly what Monmouth wanted to do in their game plan, that quick ball movement. And still a lot to be excited about. Really nice play, something to celebrate, even though they're down by a number of goals, something they're going to continue to work toward and try to close this gap a little bit.
Colbert's second of the year.
Always things to celebrate, always things to be happy about, even in a game where you are down significantly. Great one-handed check by McNeely, and able to come up with her ground ball. So really nice cause turnover there. Looks like Monmouth's got just a little bit of juice right now, building off these plays, really trying to make something happen here in this fourth quarter.
Fake shot by Brock. Now Orban with it. Skip for Murphy. Spears.
Good stick there by Stony Brook D. Monmouth able to keep possession. Spears looking inside to Brock, unable to finish, but Monmouth maintains possession. Good hustle behind the cage. Brennan at that top center hash.
Should be options to shoot. She'll take it, and save gets made. Third keeper we've seen today for Stony Brook. That one, Shanna Hecht, grad student from Temple.
Monmouth attack, able to put some points on the board. Now it's time to see what the defense can do and hopefully slow Stony Brook down and get the ball back in the sticks of the attacking players.
Low shot. And another one for Stony Brook to stop the bit of momentum that Monmouth had going.
Take another look at this McClay goal. She finds herself in the middle of 8. Fakes, looks like she's going to go, maybe changes her mind, and sees an opportunity, sees a lane, and able to get her stick nice and low. Getting Stony Brook to 20 goals on the afternoon. We know they have a potent attack. We have a lot of players here for the Stony Brook squad who can score. We've seen a number of different scorers this afternoon.
This was coming into play today, how the teams match up. And if you use gray as your indicator, Stony Brook leads the league in just about everything. Possession, Stony Brook, less than 4 to go in this fourth. Will be one of those games you would think Jordan Troutman will say learning experience, playing a top 10 team this late that's going to be in your conference. And as we talked about, Erica, in the open, it does give Monmouth kind of a up close and personal look at what we need to improve on, what we need to build on to be among the best in the league.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm sure they'll go back and they'll break down this game tape. They'll talk about the things they did well, but focus more on what they can improve upon to get themselves at this level. So absolutely, as much as you hate to lose, especially in conference, there's definitely some important takeaways and lessons to be learned, which will make them better in the long run.
Ten on the shot clock in this possession for Stony Brook. No shot. Stony Brook just holds possession. Monmouth will get it back. About 12-second differential between the game and shot clock, and Seawolves able to get it back off a Monmouth turnover.
Yeah, unforced error there. Filia unable to handle that pass, and a push from behind will sit her out for 2 minutes. I think that's just a little bit of frustration. Thinking maybe I should have caught that ball. I should have had possession. Frustration that you're losing significantly here in a conference game. but that will give Stony Brook a player up advantage for the next 2 minutes. This is only Monmouth's third card, so it still is releasable. If Stony Brook is to score here, she will re-enter the game and come back to even numbers. Stony Brook, absolutely no need to rush anything here. You might see them take their time. But again, working with the player up, just trying to find that right opportunity to find an open player to get a high percentage shot off.
Stony Brook can hold if they want. They'll take a shot. Goes back behind the net. Possession will be kept here by the Sea Wolves as we work down towards a half minute to go. Stony Brook will improve to 9-2, 4-0 now in the league. Monmouth will fall to 8-6, 2-2 within the CAA. Both teams with 3 games remaining in the regular season. Goal up top for Colbert, who took a shot.
Yeah, you can see her holding her ribs there on the end, and it was funny. I was just about to say, Monmouth looking to end this game on a high note. It looks like this is how the game will end as the clock continues to run. But a nice second goal for the day for Colbert to end Monmouth. Final score as the final second ticks down, 20-5.
One other final in from league play today. Drexel beat Elon 12-5, so the Dragons improve now to 2-2. Tomorrow there are 2, I'll say, really important games. The biggest, William and Mary will play host to Towson. That game at 1 o'clock down in Williamsburg. The Tigers, the remaining undefeated team in the league, along with Stony Brook. Those 2 teams will match up and see each other at the end part of the season. There you see a look at what it looks like right now. Towson and Stony Brook will play on April 22nd down in Maryland. Lots still to play for with the loss today. Monmouth will try and figure a way to get themselves back up and into the top 4.
Yeah, Monmouth, like you mentioned, that number 5 spot, just one game outside of that top 4, and those top 4 teams at the end of the regular season will head on to postseason play.
(20-5) your final score, as Stony Brook continues to roll through this regular season. Clearly no letdown for this team, as they will take on top 10 Rutgers in a midweek game next week. Jaden Hempel with a great game today, 5 goals and an assist. Ali Masauer, who we talked about in the open, 4 and 3. Caitlin Hart, 3 and 1. It goes back to the point as you see the final numbers and stats in this one. Who do you stop on Stony Brook?
And that's just what makes them so good. That's the question. You take one out, and really you're not taking anyone out, but you try to, and you have others ready just to step up. They are loaded. They have a lot of depth. They have a lot of talent. So it's a tough team to plan to play against, because they are just firing on all cylinders, and they're playing their best lacrosse all season.
You said peaking at the right time, and that'll be something we can talk with head coach Joe Spalinas, who's going to join us here in just a second. Coach, congrats on another win. Matt Harmon, Erica Kaufman-DeLay upstairs here, and I'll steal it from my broadcast partner. She said this Stony Brook team, as good as you guys have been all year, you are peaking right now at the best time.
Yeah, we're starting to play really well. I think it's a mindset we talk about with our players often. Just being super disciplined and just making the play that's there. Not trying to do too much offensively, defensively, sticking to our system, and just making it a little difficult. Obviously, take their offensive players being able to cut some lanes off and play good team D. So, again, it's about when you rise, right? When you're playing your best lacrosse, and you want to be playing your best going, heading into May.
Congrats on a dominant win. I just want to kind of segue off of what you just mentioned. I know your attack gets a lot of credit, and it is well-deserved. But what do you really credit your defensive success to today? They held a talented Monmouth attacking unit to only 5 goals. They average over 12. So let's just talk about your defense and what made them so successful today.
Yeah, well, we're known, obviously, we have, between Allie Kennedy and the O'Millers and Courtney Murphy, we have obviously a bunch of really established alums that have ripped it up, on the offensive side. Ellie Macera is down that, as Caitlin Hart is as well. But the identity of our program is our defense. Being able to turn defense to offense, that's really when we're at our best, that's what we're doing. So we were the #1 defense in the country last year. So, I think you want to – the nice thing with having a defense, it travels, right? You have a really good defense, it travels with you on the road. You can play well on the road. And, I think that ultimately in this game, there's the rules allow for a lot of goal scoring. So generally the teams that defend the best will put their team in the best position to be successful.
Coach, finish with this one. We were talking about it towards the end part of our broadcast. You've got a really interesting game coming up, a midweek game, which doesn't always happen this late in the season when you'll take on another top 10 team in Rutgers.
Yeah, huge game for us, huge game for them. A little history there, right? We've played 2 years in a row in the NCAA tournament. A ton of respect for them. They have a great program, and I think this has been a little bit of a strange year for them. But it's, they will have our full attention. We know that we have to be on our own. It's a nationally televised game, so we know they'll be hyped up. They're really good at home, and we have to be really good on the road. So I think it's one of those things where, for us, we know it's more. You're not playing records. You're not playing. There's a nice friendly rivalry. We're excited for the opportunity to play at Rutgers this week.
Coach, appreciate you coming by, giving us a couple of minutes. Best of luck the rest of the year. Fun to watch you guys play today.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great one. Happy Easter.
Coach. Thank you.
Yep.
Joe Spallina, the Stony Brook head coach. His team gets win number 9 of the year, 4-0 now in the league. Monmouth 8-6. Hawks still alive for a top 4 bid. They are 2-2 within the league. For Andrew Kurtz, our producer-director, my partner Erica Kaufman-DeLea, I'm Matt Harmon saying goodbye from Monmouth University. Your final score, Stony Brook 20, Monmouth 5. Flow Sports, your home for live and on-demand CAA coverage all season long. Visit flowsports.tv/CAA for more information. This has been a presentation of the Monmouth Digital Network. Happy holiday weekend.